Right, yeah, so you did all your mining, and then
Mine, we're going, yeah.
so then tell me about the specific trip to Oslo.
The decision was to mine the whole of the coast between Spain and Russia round Narvik. That's all the way Norway, Sweden, Russia, Narvik to the port of Narvik, where they were taking incoming war goods from ships from Britain, which originally came from America. They were just shipped from America to Britain, and from Britain they were taken to the Russian army, who were short of armaments and goods at the front. So it was a massive task, but it was a very difficult task and a very dangerous task, especially for the shipping, taking the goods. They were sinking the buggers like nobody's business. Till the RAF came in and started bombing the bloody fleets. They got Condor aeroplanes there, massive battleships like the biggest northern battleships were going up and down from Britain, up the coast, up the Norway, Sweden, right round to Russia with wartime goods, which were essential for the upkeep of the Russian army, and they were fighting like hell with those lads on the line. It was really amazing. An amazing task. I think J.P. Marlowe wrote a book, The Cruel Sea, and it was a cruel sea because the losses were very high, and the bloody Germans were thinking our ships like bloody hell.
It's all right, Uncle Jack.
I just took the decision, take the bull by the horns, get massive amounts of sea mines. It wasn't just a trickle. It went on for maybe 6 months or a year. But each took the decision to set Bombercommand the job of destroying the German bastards who were attacking these ships at sea with no cover at all. They had no cover at all. And the big Condor aeroplane was spotting ships for the German fleet, and the German fleet was also out. They were using the port of Oslo. Right down the sea, right down to Spain, they had ports all the way up there. They could have attacked the British fleet and knocked the whole bloody lot out in an invasion. But this was determined not to happen. We were going to knock the buggers out first. And it was our job of Bombercommand, to mine these seaports that the Germans are using. Little ones as well, small ports, anything that you could get a boat up had to be mined, a bloody great mine put in that place. And it took us about, I should say, 3 months of continuous mining. It's all in the logbook, which Dad gave away. And that's what happened. The Germans were flying overhead in Condors. The battleships were the biggest ones that they've ever got. The Shadows, now, Bismarck, all those ships were used up the Russian waterways, attacking ordinary British mining ships, not mining ships, ordinary British ships carrying goods to Russia. They were being attacked all the time. It was a hell of a war on its own, was that, and nobody knows about it.
And it's very sad as well. They were doing the job just like what you were doing a job, eh? And it's very sad, isn't it? All that loss for nothing.
It was a real, I think Malalo's book was The Cruel Sea, and the description was horrific, really. They used to say, I stuck to bloody last all the way top to bottom of the ship. But they still went through to the British Navy. But after a certain time, we were towards the end of it, I suppose, or near D-Dale. Could have been middle of May, something like that. We took off as normal in a Halifax Mk2. I was flight engineer, second pilot, but there wasn't much talk about second pilots then. I was a flight engineer looking after the engines. And we took off all right. We briefed to put this mine in a certain port, bang in the middle. No messing about. You got to get it dead in the middle of the bloody port and blow anything to reach there. So that was our task. And I suppose there must have been there could well have been a couple hundred lads a night up there mining. It was a very important, all the loading stocks. They're all mine laden. There must have been hundreds of bloody mines, but it had to be done to block the whole of the waterway from Spain right on to Narvik. Well, this could be done quite easily by Bombercommand. You got blown to reach with attacks from Oslo, and those were very big ports, and they were heavily guarded because of the big battleships used to go into the big ports. Channels, nice now.
And tell me, because you experienced that, didn't you, at Oslo?
Yeah.
It was probably your heaviest defence that you came across, would you say?
Yeah.
It was the heaviest fire that you took, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Tell me what happened when you got there.
Oh yeah, well I'll tell you that. We'd approached, you see, we're up at Darlington and we're only across there to Norway. It was down here to France, from there either, and just up here was Denmark. It's across, straight across, and up to Norway and Sweden. So I think we hit Sweden first, on the coast. We took off as normal, briefed as normal. Right, lads, you got a big man on there, you drop the bugger straight into Oslo harbour. All right, and they used to talk like that, didn't ask about, all right, lads, you do this, you do it that way. Yeah. Well, we dropped it right in Oslo harbour. Okay, we thought it was all right. Oh, a trip across to Oslo and have a look at all that. So we went and we crossed the sea all right. And this Sweden of it, and Denmark on the right. All Europe on the right, France down here. The whole of the ports were miles, hundreds of miles of ports. We came across the landfill there, south of Norway, the tip there, we could see that. It was a clear night, and we went straight up. The attack was intermittent, but very rare, not like Germany. There wasn't the attack defence that Germany had, but they had a fair amount, no doubt about that. But we flew through it or above it or under it somewhere. And we eventually came on some firing up the front. We could see somebody got in front of us and somebody was going to Oslo beside ourselves. It would be a mass attack on Oslo because Oslo was a huge port and it was taking in all the big battleships. Shadow, Stridout, Bismarck, the whole lot of them. And feeding them out to attack the Russian convoys and bastards. And the convoy was spotting for them and telegrating back where the ships were. This was going on okay, we went through the flak okay, we just thought it was a bit of fun really. And we could see all those low stroke up in front. Right in front there was a certain amount of very active activity going on with the flak. And that was assumed must be Oslo, because the waterways come from Oslo, right, maybe 100 miles down into the sea as a waterway on the entrance to Oslo. It isn't just a river, there's a big waterway, a big channel there. And we hit that with some flak. But as you could see ahead, you could see a massive flak. I said, that's bloody Oslo, and it was. So we realised it was Oslo when we were flying up to it. I thought, well, we'll have to go through bloody lot, that's all we had to do. All the flat was right on Oslo, right over Oslo. So it was a bloody giveaway for them, and us really. We knew we were going to fly to Oslo, and the Oslo people knew we were going to fly over the buggers. Crazy. So it was so distinguished from maybe 50 or 60 miles easily. Might be 100, but it was a long way. And we had maybe half an hour to think about what we were going to do. Anyway, John didn't panic. He was a cool guy with John Sinclair, Canadian lad, ex-school teacher. And I stood up by John. If I struggled, he was to get off me to stand and step down, join John in the front by the, and stand by him. And then we used to sit down. There was a fold-up seat there, but I never used it. I used to stand up by John and see if we were all right. We just knocked him on another. And we were both okay, flying straight towards Oslo, straight towards the stream of fire. You couldn't get away from it, but that's where we had to go. So we knew that. And we were prepared, maybe 10 minutes, quarter of an hour flying. It was a long way off. It would be a good quarter of an hour flying straight for a Mercer flash. We had to go through it because that was Oslo. Oh, that's why I never forget Oslo. It was very memorable. And as we approached, the flat became very heavy. And you could see all the kites being hit or knocked down. The defences were very heavy at Oslo because all the fast battleships were up there. Anyway, we flew straight towards it. We had to do to get to the port. It was over the port, like that. And we had to get to that. So it just carried straight on. We didn't blink in the alley, really. In cases like that, you don't worry, you just go for it. So John kept us steady on right for the port. And we followed others behind, others in front, so we're being hit or being missed only just. I didn't see any go down, but I've no doubt there were quite a few losses there. And we approached there, and below a big laid down looking for the bomb site. He says, John, the bloody bomb doors open. I said, God, because John says, open the bomb doors. Vic says, can't open them, John, the bomb doors are definitely stuck. I can't open. He said, get the bloody thing open. We're coming up to readiness now. Oh, bloody hell, we're flacking from bloody bomb doors were bloody shut. So, we got right over town, it was still when they shut bomb doors. And there was some flak all the bloody way around us, so Sink said, I'll get out of this bloody lot. And he took a sharp turn to the left, and we did a big circle all the way around again. You had to know, you've got to keep going, keep your engine going. We couldn't go further forward because someone up there, we couldn't turn around in a big circle, about a 50-mile radius, and then come back up the port again like we did before. Come back into the stream of traffic again, and with that time, towards the target, Mick had got the bomb doors open by some means or other. And Mick said, I've got the bomb doors open. Say, okay lads, don't run now, remember. And Mick was laying down, shouting left, right. When we were going over the river and the target was just in front, full of flak again. So we sailed straight, you had to sail for it straight, right? It was just over the port, dead over the port. So I went straight for the flak mill, we had to go at full speed with the mine still on, and dead over the harbour on the second run round. We dropped the mine exactly where it should be in the harbour, at a certain height which is necessary for its explosion. And as soon as we turned to the left, John said, oh, let's get out of this lot, lad. And as soon as he said that, the bloody port in it, head was struck by flak. And I said to John, "Hello, the port in an agency." "Okay, Jack." I said, "Okay, Jack." And he found the port engine himself. I was supposed to do it, but he did it. And the port engine was spanning right over the target. We were on 3 engines right over the target. And on the way out, took a massive squirt to the left. Took a massive squirt to the left on 3 engines and got out of the flat, but only just, we were bloody, Christ, we were looking up to be it. There were hundreds of shells around us. But with a quick serve, John was good enough to get out of it like they did at the other place where they had a problem with the flat.
So your engine number 3 was hit by flak.
Hit by flak.
And it blew up basically, didn't it?
Right over the target, it was hit by flak. And as soon as it hit by flak, I said to John, "When he's hit by flak, John, port in engine, feather the port in an engine." "Okay, Jack."
And you were very, very lucky.
We went 2 runs and there was a hell of a lot of flak at Oslo. And it was a big port, massive. Only those big German battleships there. There was others as well. It's surprising how many big German battleships they had, the Germans, spread all over the bloody world. That one was in Montevideo, scuttled itself by South America. They was all over the bloody world. The Germans with the boats, a lot bigger they were than ours. So anyway, we took a hell of a swerve out of it. And I was up onto rails, because it was tipped right over. I've some rails just above me where I stand. I went at rails and John went hanging onto the column and steered it right round to the left. All he said was, "Port in a Jack." No, I said, "Feather port in a John." "Okay, Jack," that's all he said. There's no conversation we had. And he did that, we swerved right out in a 4-engine bloody aeroplane. We swerved right out to the left and eventually got out of the flak. And we came across a massive belt of nothingness at all. We flew over the snow-covered ground of Norway and Sweden, back across the sea, and we landed. The good navigator took us straight to our aerodrome in the North Sea at Darlington, Milton St George, and we landed there safely and surely. And we didn't show it straight or left, we all stood it okay. We got out and we got in a truck and went for briefing and a cup of coffee. Did a briefing and then just went to bed. You didn't get any medals of congratulations, a bugger all. You just went, you did your job, you had your coffee and your bacon and eggs. And you get back, you get your bacon and eggs and your coffee and a briefing, all in order with another 20 or 30 crews. They thought we'd had it. They definitely thought we'd had it. Because we were an hour late in arriving back at base. Oh, on the way back, John says, "What shall I do with the engines, Jack? Shall I rev them up to make the power of 4 up or just keep them as they are?" I said, "Keep the 3 engines as they are, John, and we'll take it steady." We did. And we were an hour late back and everybody had gone to bed. Everybody had been debriefed, they were up there. Well, nobody in the debriefing room, they were bugging off, they thought we were at it. They thought we were lost. So we just didn't take any notice of it. We had us bacon and eggs and somebody debriefed us briefly. But debriefing was quite a big affair with 20 or 30 crews then, with no bugger there except us. But then instead of coming back, we flew nice and steady home without any risk of engine failure. If we'd have gone on the 2 engines, we'd have had a job to get home. We came back on 3 quite safely. That's a Halifax Mk2 with inline Rolls-Royce engines. It was an early Mk2. The British really were pumping after Lancaster. They were all Lancaster mad. So Harris gave all the Halifaxers to 6th Group in Canada. All the Canadians were flying Mk2 in the 6th Group, and they were a good aeroplane.